I've already seen 10 of the films on the lineup for the New York Film Festival, so I wanted to share which movies I think are worth checking out. But I also know it's difficult to get tickets to a lot of these screenings, so I'm thinking more in terms of which movies to prioritize and what is or isn't worth waiting in a rush line for. The 10 movies I saw on the lineup are All We Imagine as Light, Anora, A Real Pain, The Brutalist, Emilia Perez, Hard Truths, On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, Queer, The Room Next Door, and The Shrouds. Out of those 10, my favorite is Anora, but that comes out on October 18th. If you're impatient like me, then it's worth seeing at the festival, but if you're capable of waiting a few weeks, then I'd do that. So my top priority would be The Brutalist, which of course is probably the hardest ticket to get. But my reason isn't because I think it's a masterpiece. I actually think everyone needs to chill when it comes to this movie. I enjoyed it more than I expected to, but people are being way too hyperbolic about it. But I'd prioritize it because it's a great movie and it doesn't have an official release date yet. How much do you want to bet they announce the release date while I'm in the middle of editing this video? And then I won't be able to post it because I'll look like a liar. Plus, if you see it at the festival, you get to see it on film and you get to see for yourself whether or not it's worth all of the praise everyone's hurling at it. If you're standing in a rush line for hours, it might be worth it because the movie is so long that if you get in through the rush line, you'll get to sit for hours after all that standing. My next priority would be Queer, which also doesn't have a release date yet. When it comes to capturing the look and feel of William S. Burroughs' work, Luca Guadagnino completely nails it. So if you're a fan of Burroughs, you're definitely going to want to check this one out. And if you're not familiar with his work, then I think this movie will be hit or miss for you. If you're hoping for another Challengers, you'll be disappointed. I recommend looking into what the movie is about because it's not the type of movie that can truly be spoiled. And I think getting a sense of the movie's vibe will be helpful in deciding whether or not you think it's worth going to see. My next priority would be The Room Next Door, which is getting a limited release at the end of December and won't get a wide release until January. I think this is another one that will be hit or miss for some people. I didn't have high hopes for it and was pleasantly surprised, but I also knew nothing about it going in. The remaining movies on my list are ones that I think you can wait for depending on your level of patience. But if you're impatient, then next I'd prioritize All We Imagine as Light, which has a limited release date scheduled for November 15th, but I don't think a wide release date has been scheduled yet. But it's a beautiful movie and I think it's worth seeing in a theater if possible. Next I'd prioritize Hard Truths, which is good but not my favorite Mike Leigh film. But I'd prioritize it because it's getting a limited release on December 6th and doesn't go nationwide until January 10th. Emilia Perez is a pretty divisive movie, and I think I enjoyed it more than a lot of the people I talked to at TIFF, but it's getting a limited release on November 1st and will be on Netflix on November 13th, so I recommend waiting. I'd also recommend waiting for A Real Pain, which also is getting a limited release on November 1st. But it's a good movie and it's worth checking out for Kieran Culkin's performance alone. I didn't love On Becoming a Guinea Fowl as much as everyone else, but I think it's a good movie and the release date is set for December 13th. So if you're really excited for this one, then I'd go see it at the festival. And last but not least, I liked The Shrouds more than most people, but I wouldn't go out of my way to see it at the New York Film Festival. It doesn't have a release date yet, so I understand why people would want to check it out at the festival. But it isn't top tier Cronenberg, so I would just wait until it gets a release date.